Hi guys, welcome back to the Daily Dreamer. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me today. Boy, do we have a lot to cover. So let's just get started, okay? So we're just going to call this dream, It's Not What I Thought. And you'll find out why here in just a moment. All right, so when I first go to sleep, I wake up, I come to, and there's a multi-level floor building. All right, well, there's me in this building with a baby and two young adults. Well, I leave the baby in the care of these two young adults, and I go downstairs outside to go take care of something else. Well, I happen to look back, and I see the baby now is climbing on like a balcony, like the balcony thing to jump off. And I start panicking. And so I'm screaming, don't let the baby fall, don't let the baby fall. Well, no one on the ground is even paying no mind to me. So I can feel my heart. And so I push a female and a male to go catch the baby. I said, catch the baby. Well, they did. I mean, I was right there too, trying to help, but it was more coming towards them. So they did catch the baby. When they caught the baby, they handed the baby over to me, and I set the baby down, and I took the baby by the hand, and we started walking. Well, suddenly, this white string starts being forced down my throat, right? And I'm like, what the heck? And I happen to look over, and I feel it. I look over, and I see the baby has the other end in its mouth. So I'm like, well, I start getting sick now because it's just being shoved. And so I start throwing up. And when I start throwing up, I threw up what I thought it was going to be something disgusting, but it wasn't at all what I thought it was going to be. It turned out to be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It was just brilliant in its color and its vibration. You can sense the energy. You could see the moving patterns. You can see it was just awesome. And I had to take a moment to appreciate it. And then it came to me like, what is this moving thing in front of me? And the only thing that came to me was, you know it to be truth. And then I was whisked back to consciousness. Right? That's a great dream. So then from there, what happens? I go into my meditative state and I get all my lovely writings that just come to me and try to get an answer for these dreams. And guess what came up? Well, this is a good one, folks. Let me check my time. Oh, we're doing good. All right, so inner truth. So what is inner truth? Well, inner truth is when your heart is synced up with your integrity and your values and your beliefs. You know, we all believe in something. Even those that say they don't believe, well, at some point they believed in something. I mean, we're all guilty of it. But when you have those beliefs and those values, that's integrity. And that shapes us who we are. And so what is integrity, folks? Let's find out what they say. They say integrity is when you act on your inner truth. We know inner truth. To stay in integrity, your beliefs and your values have to be the same as your inner truth. So they have to be in sync, all right? They say integrity is our tuning fork, but it only vibrates when it hears the truth. It's your inner truth, not just any inner truth. And if you fight this inner truth all the time, then no matter how logical your arguments and your beliefs are on the outside, they're not going to allow you to tune the fork to vibrate. Why is that? Well, they say because the strings of logic don't come from the heart. Well, that makes sense to me. And they say, they know what we're already thinking. You know, they're saying, aren't all beliefs as the same as inner truths? Well, yeah, for some it is. Let them explain. They say those who grant their beliefs over to an outside source, telling them what truths to believe in, well, those are known as the true believers. They would rather allow someone to explain the truth for them according to their interpreted opinion. Those are the true believers. They live with the certainty that we are all equal in our uncertainty. We've all been true believers. We're all guilty of this. It says, we all believed in something to the utmost core of our beings, And we held those convictions too, didn't we? We would argue it for real. For example, there's teachers out there that have shaped our lives. There are gurus out there that are shaping people's lives. Even in philosophical persuasion, right? Opinions. I mean, it's just how it is. There's diets. We all sworn by diets that work, and we'll fight them. We'll stand up for them. We'll say, it'll work. Religions are real good at that, aren't they? They're real good at persuading people. We love that one. Even political parties, they say, are good at manipulating us to think that we are right in their truths. We all get caught up in it trying to defend the truth, but it's not our truth on the inner ones, on the inner side. It says not everyone is dedicated to a cause or belief is a true believer. Some people serve their causes with grace, and they serve them with sincerity. These people are what we call evolutionary forces. You can tell this because these people are filled with love and motivation that will uplift others. Love is life to them. Beliefs are ideas. It's pretty deep. Unlike true believers, they say, they do not try to manipulate you to believe their belief. So, how can we tell when we are out of balance with our integrity and our inner truth? Well, let's take a look, shall we? They say the first thing to do is look at your choices, look at your decisions. Are they causing you havoc? Are you finding yourself making the wrong choices? Are you causing more self-added drama for yourself? Are you allowing someone else to shape your belief and what you think is right? Well, if you're struggling with yourself on an inner level, you're going to find that your beliefs, you're going to start questioning yourself. And, oftentimes we allow someone to facilitate their truth and allow them to make it ours, even if it doesn't resonate inside here. We start to see a breakdown internally. Sometimes we get so caught up, we start to feel guilty from that, right? You made a decision and wasn't so right, and then it backfired or something happened, and then all of a sudden you start feeling bad, or it hurt somebody, You start feeling guilt. That's not good, So we agonize over these bad decisions, Well, when you feel guilty, guess what? That's a response to the unbalance of your integrity and your heart. It's a response you get. So if you start feeling guilty, take a look, because that's what that is. But instead of using it as a response to this being out of balance, let's take a second and use it instead as a remedy, because folks, they always have remedies. Their remedy for this one is take that guilt. And if you use it as a remedy for it, then you'll be able to know when you're out of balance with here and here. And you'll be able to start taking the right steps to going back and, making yourself back on the same track and align yourself with what you truly believe in. They say if we're able to use it as a general guideline for when we've gone awry, then our inner truth, we can take appropriate steps to realign ourselves with our new picture of truth. As we grow in spiritual and self-awareness, behavior that once worked for us is inappropriate. Our actions are based out of, old habits, if you will. And when we act on these behaviors, these old habits out of response, well, then we're not living really so much in integrity, are we? It's not genuine. So when that starts happening, guess what? Guess what now happens? All these choices, it's called instant karma, they say. We become vulnerable, and we even invite in attacks. So now we're finding ourselves defending those illusions. Other people, they sense this, and then they start poking at you, and you get all riled up. All your energy now is being directed even farther away from your inner truth. At some point, everyone knows you're lying. Everyone knows you're unhappy. Dear God, we can see it, folks. And there's a lot of us out there walking around unhappy. We know these types of people. They are the avid true believers. They become defensive. They're arrogant. They're paranoid. They got anal retentive behavior. They become unpleasant, even sometimes dangerous, especially when you get in groups, and then you start defending that lie. And then guess what happens? Well, when we're also defensive, they say we're easy to anger and we're quick to strike. And that's not the truth, because we react. Then you feel guilty. It's like one big bad cycle. Anyways, truth exists as the union of all spirits in the universe, they say. Truth is a living entity. I love this. In the Roman Catholic terms, the entity is the Holy Spirit, they say. As humans, the Holy Spirit can move through us. Yet we, however, can never speak the truth. Whenever we speak, we must use words from pictures. And through these pictures, these writings, these translations that we do, the communication ways, we share our biased opinion about the reality that we've just seen. The very act of speaking, they say, prevents us from speaking truth. Language, they say, is dualistic, but truth is not. Being human, then, leaves us only with opinions. Because of the inability to grasp this elusive yet all-encompassing truth, many settle into beliefs that provide a decent substitute. They become the true believers. Some prefer this alternative and are okay with living with the certainty that we are all equal in our uncertainty. So depending on your relationship with the pictures in your reality, you find this information to be liberating, confronting, wrong, offensive, or just an opinion. Speaking of opinions, let's talk about facts, they say. Did you know that facts are opinions of just more than one person that think something is true? All facts are relative in relation to dimension, time, and philosophical persuasion. For example, they say, one person might say, that's a chair and that's a fact. This fact is relative to time because 50 years ago, those components were trees. Maybe 50 years from now, there's a fire. Those same components are now ashes. So it's relative to time. But that fact in itself is relative to dimension because that same chair, it may not be a chair on the 10th dimension, they say. It represents a unified fragment of the whole universe. Well, that fact is relative to personal opinion now, isn't it? Because maybe a physicist says, this object is mostly space. And then someone else says, I don't even know what you're talking about. That's just an illusion. That thing doesn't even exist. Right? We've all had that. Everyone at some point seeks answers and becomes a true believer for a while. When we buy into a belief system without question, we compromise our integrity. This makes us act defensively and offensively, and we play the polarity game. We defend the group, the leader, the agenda. The game darkens the more we convince ourselves that the inconsistencies are true. Beliefs are thinner than the surface of tension of water, yet stronger than spider silk. They exist only because of memory, and we are not our memories or our beliefs. To be free, we must believe, yet not let our beliefs keep us from our integrity. It's deep stuff, folks. They say, okay, this is great. None of the great masters like Lao Tzu, Jesus, Krishna, none of those great leaders ever spoke of chakra meditations, the kundalini, the third eye, the worshiping gods, the interdimensional beings, the rituals of sacrifice. And they say, why do you think that is? Because we have everything inside us. It's all right here, folks. All that wisdom, all that love, all that peace, all that sovereignty, truth, joy, creativity. It's just waiting for you to finally wake up and see it for yourself. So kids, we're at 1444. We are out of here. Anyways, thanks so very much for hanging out with me. And until next time, folks, sweet dreams and many blessings.